Hey everybody, welcome to 20 Sides Every Story. We're going to get started here this Monday evening with our game for the night. Well, for a couple things before we get going, hit a few housekeeping items. So tonight we're going to be playing Spelljammer, The Light of Xaryxis. This is actually, I believe, session 9, right? Yeah, our ninth session. But a couple things with the channel you should know. This is a channel that plays lots of stuff. So we play some DCC, we play some 5th edition, we play some independent games. We have old school essentials on Saturday. We were just talking about that earlier today. So if you like what we do and you want to hang out with us, you can either go to the Discord. It's a very friendly place. We can set you up with any games that are going on. For example, our community game that's happening. You can join that. No catch. Just jump into the Discord and come on. Or at the very least, you can follow and see some more games that are happening this week. There's a lot happening. I'll talk a bit about that here in just a minute. Main thing is just we have our game tonight. Tomorrow is going to be Dragonlance, Rise of the Magistrate, which is run by DM Dave. And then we have Dark Tower, which is a 5th edition conversion from Goodman Games. It's running on Thursday. And then Saturday is a community campaign called a session called Dragging Out the Dragon. And the way our community campaign works is just like I said earlier, players from the community can just join. And basically, we have a sort of a waitlist system. If you've never played with us before, we give you priority typically and try to get you into a game. If you've been, haven't played in a while, we try to get you in. There's some prioritization if you're a patron and a subscriber, but generally speaking, if you want to play, there's going to be something open. So come on in and check out the community campaign. It's a lot of fun. And is that a tier 1 or tier 2 on
I
this week?
believe he's running that as tier 1. So
Against a dragon?
Dragon fights at tier 1, yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. We did something or other to help make it easier. Maybe.
Cool. Did you de-age the dragon?
I don't know, we shot a rocket into a tunnel and then we had to fight a bunch of CR5 monsters and somehow we lived.
That sounds like fun.
It was good. It was a very good session.
That's good. Good old community campaign. So that said, that's pretty much all I wanted to hit today. There might be some other stuff going on. I'll have Alex maybe hit stuff at the end of the session, but we got a long session tonight because we are in the middle of an arena battle with the party. They are fighting Queen Gorma, who is sort of the arena champion, as a megapede, which is a gigantic millipede creature. It has just dropped into the arena, and the context of the party is trying to win the favor of several factions in this doom space so that they can oppose the evil Xyraxian Empire, save their planet, and free the universe, or I guess the Spelljammer verse. Actually, I don't know what you call it, the Wild Space verse, from the Xyraxian threat, which is currently destroying 2 of the players' home planet. So we are going to pick up with that arena battle, and hopefully if the party survives, maybe they'll have a chance to talk to these factions and impress them through their prowess in combat and get them aligned to their goals. But we will see. That said, hey Galaxian, what's the reroll count? I always start over every day because I lose track of the rerolls. So I don't know.
Oh, 0.
So starting out with 0. I feel like it's more fun that way anyways, because if you have 27 you've built up over time, it just starts to get absurd.
Yeah.
So they could probably use some rerolls tonight because they're the party is pretty beat up. They've been fighting some tough creatures. They've done a really good job, but they're just now about to face a healthy megapede. And my dog is doing calisthenics over there. I don't know what he's up to, but may have to push him out. But anyways, that said, let's get started. Oh, hey, look, there is a reroll bot. How many? Just one?
Looks like 1.
One reroll. Okay. I'll track it off to the side, I guess. I need to get it. Or do you have it on the overlay, Alex?
I'm just putting it. I guess I've never had it on our overlay here, so I'm in the process of doing that.
Yeah, no one wants to buy rerolls whenever I DM. I guess everyone trusts the party. Okay, so we're going to pick up where we left off last session. So I think in lieu of traditional character introductions, you're in the middle of a big scary fight. I think we can just jump straight in. So let me just make sure that the megapede Gorma has been rolled into combat. Looks like she has not. So I will get her onto the combat tracker and roll. And it looks like Placebo, you're up. Did you take a turn last round?
It sure looks like I went last because it has me doing the hand of harm. I think I did that on the
Yeah.
Brutus or whatever the thing was. I don't know that I fought last.
Right, right. And then Koraz, you just did a strength check for no purpose. Just
I was just testing my.
Okay.
Just flexing his arms.
He's just flexing. Yeah, with the -1. He got a high roll.
We got to put on a
Alright.
good show for the spectators around the arena.
Right.
Yeah, and speaking of the spectators, so I added a few tokens so you can get a sense of like the different factions. There's a little bit. I'm kind of changing a few things around about this. So there's probably in the mix you'd see a good group of humans as well, especially on the Hadozi side, but some with the Aarakocra. But basically, what you're seeing there is the various factions you're trying to impress. But you would know there's these 5 factions that are currently present at this site, and I don't know how much you know about them. I will say that they are refugees from a planet that was destroyed in Doomspace. I don't think I explained much about that context, but their planet was destroyed, and Vokath the Mercane, so he's the kind of the leader of uh, this arena and this whole little compound. He helped a lot of them escape the destroyed planet, and also sold them a lot of things, and was setting them up for buying their loyalty more or less, because he's this very wealthy, very cunning merchant. And so he has all these factions owing him favors. And the idea here is that if you entertain Vokath, he will set up a meeting with the faction heads. So you'll get a chance to directly interface the factions. And then hopefully you're impressing them during the battle as well. And so he seems to be pretty interested. He's impressed you survived so far. And definitely, when Gorma comes out, he'll say, "Oh, Gorma, Queen Gorma, finally, I've not had a chance to use you in quite some time. I think that this crew is quite entertaining. What do you think, audience?" And this big, booming, telepathically enhanced voice, or I guess psychically enhanced voice, just echoes across the chamber, and the crowd starts to cheer. And you can see that the Hadozi are cheering, and the humans are cheering. And you can see in the Aarakocra are cheering. The Thrycreen are really into it. The Artuks are a little bit, they're demurring. The big one, that's the center, the Elder, seems to be just standing there, but a couple of the littler ones are rustling their spines, making this kind of a rustle sound, like maybe they're kind of cheering. It's hard to tell. And then, of course, there's a group of crocodilian-looking lizard folk that are looking pretty stoically, but they're definitely paying attention to what's going on. And that'll bring us to Zeph. You're the first up. This millipede, just to describe what you're seeing, this gigantic millipede, it's a megapede, has appeared out of thin air. It's been teleported into the arena. It lands. It's about 100 feet long, and its body is just covered in eggs. And maybe even to you, it's a little bit like you can kind of relate to this creature. Like, I think we had talked about possibly the Thrycreen seeing some, look at those big, beautiful, bulging eyes. But you see that there's hundreds of little eggs up and down her back. She keeps her babies on her back like you. And it's pretty vicious looking, slobbering this kind of acidic looking saliva out of its mouth. And it fixes its eyes on you. You're up, Zeph. What do you do?
Oh, I need a minute. I'm gonna bonus action cast Healing Spirit.
Okay.
And I guess I can mark where I'm gonna do that. Placebo, how bad are you looking?
Oh, well, I'm maybe 2/3 of the way to top. Not too bad.
Okay, not too bad. I think I'm gonna put the Healing Spirit here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to run over there. 5, 20, 25, 30. So I'll run through it and take my 6 points of healing.
Nice.
And it's not super flashy, but I'm just going to go and hunker down over here and take the dodge action.
A dodge action. Okay. And you're right next to what's his face? Crux. So you're hunkered behind these rocks. Grimzod's gonna get up, and Grimzod he's not been very useful this fight, but he's hoping that his luck will turn around. I'm cursed dice roller apparently when I'm trying to do something good, it's cursed. Yeah, so Grimzod will stand up and just grab his crossbow and say, "Oh, there's the Megapede. We have to kill it." And he shoots with his crossbow.
It is a very good idea, Grimzod. I think we should kill it.
The arrow shoots into the crowd and angers one of the factions. No, the arrow shoots out of the dome, and it kind of it actually hits the ceiling of this arena and just slips on a rock, basically. Fires straight up and hits the ceiling of the arena, which you can see is this glass dome overhead.
It is an interesting way of trying to kill the enemy.
We should have brought the other GIF.
And then he's gonna run behind. Well, he's gonna get this far. He's not gonna get behind the rock. Let's see if he's got any more movement. Nope. He didn't make it all the way to the rock, but he tried. Yeah, I don't know why. He's just been bad. So then it's gonna be Gorma's turn, and Gorma is going to first. It's going to slither over to you, Placebo, and as it kind of slides its way past you, it takes a bite.
Just a bite.
Yow.
You don't want to
28.
eat me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So this will be the damage.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
No. Is that right?
That's a lot of damage.
Oh, no. Okay.
I'm resistant to poison though, so
Okay.
I'll only take half poison damage.
Yeah, so 19 of that was poison.
Okay.
So you
So
would take
19.
10 instead, so right, round up. So 34 damage total.
Holy bejeebus.
We gotta take this and go fast.
Zeph, I'm hurting a little bit more now, Zeph.
Uh-oh. There's a nice place for you over by this rock.
And it's gonna slither on top of this body. And I guess it'll get probably about. It's gonna just slide past you, basically. And it's going to fix its eyes on Commander Crux.
Oh, no.
Naturally.
And the eyes they start to
Sorry.
Are you interrupting? Oh
Yes.
no. Are you casting Shatter?
No, I was just
What's
looking
happening?
looking at my character sheet. I'm sorry.
It's okay, don't worry about it. And then a surprise round Shatter goes off. Anyway, so the Gorma is gonna fix her eyes on Crux, and you're just out of the line of sight of this Zeph. Like, you can tell the eyes are focused on Crux, and they kind of glow a little. And Crux grabs his head, whoa, and he starts to scream or I guess grunt. And so he has to make a wisdom saving throw. Of course, he makes it.
Crux.
Yeah. He will take, I think, half that damage. Let me double check. And so it's half the damage. Okay. So he'll take 13 points of damage. Not enough to drop him. And he's not incapacitated. He's like, whoa, I got a massive headache.
In the effort to be entertaining, the poison that goes into my body, I'm going to let it change my color a little bit, so it can be maybe entertaining to those who are watching. So have a greenish hue to the pink.
Just give me a random charisma check. Just straight charisma.
I figure at least my demise can be entertaining.
So you take on this like disgusting green hue,
Hmm.
and the Hadozi in particular are like, ooh, and they're just chattering to each other, and you can hear like murmuring, like they're like worried, concerned murmuring.
Oh, that didn't work. Oh,
And it's Ichabod's turn.
All right. Ichabod is thinking that we do not have enough healing to just play defensively. We got to do as much damage to this thing as we can. So I'm going to use my final bardic inspiration on some unsettling words. On Gorma. So then the next saving throw, I'll have to subtract an inspiration die. And I am going to cast Shatter.
Ooh.
First time casting a purely offensive spell. And he's going to strike this very anime dramatic pose, with his scepter pointed out, his cane like pointing out at the enemy, and he just shouts, "Enough!"
Cool. Yeah, and your voice sort of echoes with the shatter. And for a second, the whole crowd goes silent as they see this explosive force. And I'll go ahead. I'm assuming you're just dropping right on him or on her.
Yep, yeah, it fits him perfectly. So, yeah, he's taking.
And fails. Wow, look at that. And it has a +7.
Even without the unsettling words, you would have failed. Wow.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, good. I didn't even think about that. So it definitely super fails. So go ahead and roll the damage.
Freaking awesome.
Don't think this thing has any special resistances. It's immune to force. Okay. So it'll take 13 points of damage and explodes a couple of the eggs on its back. Nothing happens. Anything else, Ichabod?
Let's see. Do I want to move a little bit? What's my range on healing word in case someone drops? 60 feet. I'm probably take one more step back into the shadows. That's
Yeah.
You're like underneath the awning.
Yep.
All right, Koraz.
Okay. So Koraz is going to move up here next to Grimzod. And then he's going to cast Dissonant Whispers at a 3rd level. Oh, whoops! I guess I rolled it. At it using my character sheet today, but I should roll an attack. I think he gets a savings throw.
Saving throw. Okay. So wisdom.
Yep.
All right. Creature's weird stats. It fails.
It rolled my damage already. It was pretty crummy. 9.
9. Hey. Any amount is going to be helpful at this point.
We gotta get this back.
And then I've got 5 feet of movement left. I'm gonna move back closer to Grimzod and be like, "Hey, block me here, buddy. Come on now."
He gives you a disconcerting look. He's like loading another quarrel. And then you get your little creature, right?
Oh yes, I do. Yes, I forgot about that. Okay, yeah. So the Beholder can. I believe all he can do is his eye ray. So he'll focus an eye ray on. That's my range spell attack. I'll just suckers.
Okay. How many is it? Just one beam or 2?
Let me double check. I think it's just 1.
Okay. All right, so that'll hit.
Damage. So it's 1d8 plus 3 plus the level of the spell, which is 4.
Cool.
So 9.
9 damage. Yeah, and the beam again, like you get the impression that while this creature is huge and probably very terrifying, doesn't have a special defenses like the Braxit. And so the beam just carves through a couple of the segments in between, again, just popping eggs all over her body. And then it's Crux's turn. And Crux is going to. What's Crux going to do? Oh, go ahead.
Actually, it says the aberration makes a number of attacks equal to half this spell's level, which would be 2.
Okay, go for it.
So he gets
Another
one more
beam.
attack. Yep, sorry about that. I will
No
get
worries.
used to this thing fast, I promise.
Hey, Cow Chip, how you doing out in the audience? Thanks for the follow and the comments. You hit. So the second beam fires off from the beholder. It sort of like takes a second to take its breath or whatever beholders do. And then beam cuts across. How much for this one?
This one will be +4.
Oh,
15.
big
Nice.
hit. Yeah, that actually, you guys actually are doing okay. This is not so bad. It's Crux's turn. Crux is going to, oh gosh. I wish I hadn't like set up the story that I hate Crux, because I think Crux is going to have to be brave, and I'm going to get
Just
guilt for this from the players.
step
I don't
into
care.
the spirit. Come on, buddy, you can
No,
do it.
he's not stepping into the spirit. You guys
Come
need the
on.
healing. Crux.
I'm not going to be able to do that. I have to
Alright.
stay engaged with this guy.
Crux is going to look around and say, "You've been honorable to travel with you." And he's going to run up with his longsword out, and he's going to longsword this thing twice. Attack me, I'm worthless. Don't take
Famous
him.
last words.
He'll hit twice. And he's going two-handed. He's just like old school, just like cutting into this beast. And yeah, he'll do 18 points. That's a significant chunk. Oops. Oh no. I accidentally healed the creature back to full health.
That's
It's
not
okay.
fair.
That's a feature.
No, Crux.
Layer-
No,
layer
Crux, what are
we're
you
trying-
doing, Crux?
We have to do a Grimshot set and kill the creature.
All right, Placebo, you're up.
All right. I am going to circle around and stand next to Crux. And I will try to. So I think it would be fun not just to sit and hit this creature with my quarterstaff, but maybe to try to, like, as I'm moving around it, see if I can pogo on some of the eggs just for flavor, you know, as I'm trying to attack. Because I'm just trying to be fancy about my attacks. So even though my ooze is kind of unsettling a little bit and it's harder to hold it together, I'm trying to. We're supposed to be entertaining, so I'm going to do 2 quarterstaff pogo attacks.
Yeah, and you have the sickly green color. It's revolting.
Jeez. I'm not much help. That was an 11.
misses.
And a second attack is a little
17
high.
will hit.
All right. Oh, geez, I rolled a 1 on damage. Okay, so that was that. So far, not so great. I'm going to use Flurry of Blows so I can do another attack. Here, let me use the key point, otherwise.
I'm going to go step out on my dog out, but go ahead.
Okay. Dang, I rolled another 1. That's frustrating.
So 6 more points.
Yes.
All right.
And I'm going to use, instead of 2 Flurry of Blows, I can use the second blow as a Hand of Harm. So, and do some extra damage. So I'm going to do that instead. Because then I don't have to worry about actually hitting it. So 5 necrotic.
Yeah, and so you pogoed on a couple of the eggs, and you're just like wailing. They're just like killing some of the babies, and there's a couple little like megapede children fall off, and there's like, again, hundreds of these things. Maybe doing the world a favor, possibly.
They're people too.
That's right. All right, and then that'll bring us to Zeph.
All right. I'm just going to say, my kids, you see that? Point at Crux, be like, that man is in a bad way. He doesn't have any sense of self-worth. And I'm starting to feel that way too. I need you all to lift me up. And I'm going to get a bonus action to Writhing Tide. I gain a flying speed of 10 feet. And I'm going to go up 10 feet. Well, first I'm going to pop into the... I guess I'm going to kind of like angle it. Like I'll fly up into the Healing Spirit, fly back out. I'm 10 feet up in the air. And I'm just going to shoot at this thing with my longbow.
Got it.
So 2 attacks. First one, a 15.
Just hits.
Oh, it hits. All right.
Yeah.
It's
Pretty big target.
I'll use my swarm feature on this, just attack another D6 on there. So, wow, 18 points.
18.
Wow.
Holy cow.
This is what we've been training for, everybody.
And second attack,
That hits.
7 points.
Wow, those are some big hits. And you can see the creature is actually writhing around and the crowd is a little confused. They were chanting Gorma, Gorma. And they're kind of looking at each other. So 1 more point.
No, that's my big one for my healing spirit.
That's right. You get 1 point. And the crowd is like, they're kind of like starting to quiet down. The creature's getting hit a bunch, and then they're starting to like kind of get, chant and I guess you all didn't have like any kind of name or anything. They were chanting for Mask, and then they see you do this big blow with this arrow, just like hits right in the creature's eye, and it's just screaming and like squirting out and everything, and they're just like, I don't know. They're trying to come up with a name for you. They're all confused. They're like, is it like the flying, like death? Like they're just trying to come up with like a cool name that's like obvious, but they're starting to turn in your favor. And then it is Grimzod's turn. Grimzod is going to run forward a little bit to get behind the rock, and he'll poke out and say, well, I guess maybe this time I'll try to hit. We'll see. And he shoots, almost rolls a 1 again, but actually does hit.
He's gonna get like the final hit, and it's gonna be so disappointing.
Yeah, it's going to be so disappointing. All right, and so he does a big 19 points of damage. It's a shame that he was missing all this time. He actually has a lot of strength. And like the bow, you can the bolt as it fires in, just like this streak of like of energy behind it. Like it's like the bow is like impossibly like pulled, like the tension is so high it's impossible for it to fire, but it does. And that'll be his turn, and then it is Gorma's turn. And Gorma is looking bad. So Gorma is going to start the eyes up again, but this time they're kind of like glowing this sickening purple color. It's going to cast Life Drain. So I need everyone within 15 feet to give me a DC 15 Constitution saving throw. And let me think about this. How smart is Gorma? Gorma's intelligence of 1. So this is going to be reflexive, I think. So actually, Zeph, you're going to survive this. It'd just be Crux and Placebo.
Oh, I'm feeling very strong right now.
Yeah, good job.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'll take
Crux
half as much
has found the
damage.
will to live.
Yeah, Crux is resisting.
The more you want to
Here's the
kill him,
damage.
the better he becomes.
That's true. So that'll be 11 points of damage. Placebo, are you still up?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so then for the second action, Gorma is going to slither around and take a bite out of somebody. And I am going to roll a d6. If it's 1 or 2, it's Placebo. If it's a 3 or a 4, It's Crux. If it's a 5 or 6, Gorman's going to slither around to try to get at Zeph because you're a little flying snack. So here we go.
We would get some attacks of opportunity if that happened.
That's true. Unfortunately, it's a 3, which is Crux.
Okay, I will do a sentinel reaction and try to poke him in the eye, though, when he goes for Crux.
Go for the poke. Let's see the poke.
All right.
Nice.
Well, that's a hit.
So would I be able to put a key point into a melee attack, or is that only on my...
What's the description say? I think it has to be flurry of blows, doesn't it? Or unarmed, maybe?
There's
some restriction.
It. Yeah, it's a melee. It says when you hit with a melee weapon attack, you can spend 1 key point to make the target stunned until the end of your next turn. If it fails a con save.
All right, go for it. Oh, I thought you were doing hand to harm.
No, no. I only have a DC 13, but I figure it might be worth a shot. Yeah.
I'm gonna be so pissed. Are there any DM rerolls? Okay.
Oh, you made it.
All right, it's okay.
Well, I tried.
That would have been huge.
That would have been absolutely huge. So then Gorman's gonna take a bite on Crux. 13? That hits.
Oh, Crux, seriously?
Come on, Crux.
Should have gone for
14
me.
and I'm a bard.
He's wearing like a safari outfit. Like he doesn't have any armor for some reason. I mean, that's what it says. He's not wearing any armor. He's just flat armor. Okay. So Gorman comes in and takes a bite. Oh, that's the attack. I'm sorry. Damage will probably actually be more than that. 46 damage. Okay. So I want to honor the rules I have done. Crux is obviously down. I think I've been giving him death saving throws, or like 3 turns of death saving throws, possibly. Or if I've been instantly killing NPCs. I don't remember. I know I instantly killed the Umber Hulk.
You said if they have names going forward, they were going to get death saving throws.
Okay. I think the way I do that is they auto fail their death saving throws, but they get them. So Crux is just like picked up by this creature and it pinches him and crushes his kind of blubbery body, and this just like gore everywhere, all over you, Placebo. You're now like this disgusting pink blood, green color. Just it's mixing.
Like puce, right? I'm a puce-colored ooze.
Oh, he's not dead. He's unconscious. And so Crux just goes down, just on the ground, longsword scattered, blood everywhere. And then Gorma is going to... you've taken your reaction, right?
Yep.
Gorma's going to slither away and try to get a little bit of a distance. Actually, you know what? It's not going to do that. It's going to... Because it's hurt, but it's going to, I think, recognize that it's got to go after Zeph. Actually, what is it going to do? That doesn't make any sense. It's just going to run away. Sorry. Boop. Okay, so that is the end of Gorma's turn, and the crowd is like, they start to cheer when they see Crux go down. They're like, yeah, Gorma, 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 and then Ichabod, you're up.
Bonus action healing word on Crux.
You ain't getting rid of him that easy, DM. You're gonna have to use this voice for a long time.
Sometimes he sounds like Doc Brown. It just cracks me up.
All right, Crux is up.
And then I am going to use an item I forgot I had, my Pearl of Power, to regain a 3rd level spell slot.
Oh, nice.
And
vaguely, didn't it give you guys a magic item or something?
Yeah, I always forget I have it. So
I have my rod out on the battlefield still.
Oh, where is it?
It's on top of the rock. over here that Grimzod is by. So he can do pull-ups if he wants to.
Hmm.
When he jumped up and got that major hit, he just was like leaning from it and looking all dashing.
All right, so that'll bring us to Koraz.
All right. So Koraz is going to cast Dissonant Whispers again, and I kind of forgot. I got so excited that I actually did some damage that I forgot about what that spell does. Oh god damn it! I keep rolling everything all at once.
It's okay. Good to know. Good to know.
But
Just
what
so
it does,
excited.
I get so excited. It makes the guy get scared, and he gets as far away from you as possible if they fail the savings throw. Also,
Nice. And that's a good one. Oh.
it's a 14 is the DC.
Yes, I make it, right? I always forget that was
So
saving
a
throws.
tie is a make it. I think.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Cool.
So on a failed save, it takes sight. Or let's see. On a failed save, let's see. On a successful save, it takes half as much damage and doesn't have.
Got
It'll
it.
take.
Okay.
It'll take half the damage.
Got it. 11 points, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Any movement or anything?
Yeah. I'm just gonna move behind this rock, and then I'm gonna have the beholder move. I can't move him, but he'll move to that square.
There.
There.
Yeah.
And then he will fire his first beam.
That'll hit.
This will be +4. So 8.
Nice.
And he gets one more attack. That misses.
Barely. Yep. Oh, not barely. Yeah, it misses. Okay, cool. So that will bring us to Crux, who was knocked on the ground. He will get up off the ground. Actually, he's not going to get off the ground. He's going to stay on the ground. He's going to fire with his musket, like in the prone position. So he'll get 2 shots off. And he will, of course, miss both of them. They just go flying over his head. And then Placebo, you're up.
All right. So I know it takes an action to actually make a pseudopod. I don't want to make a pseudopod, but I want to make an illusion as I'm running over to this guy that I have many little legs as well. So it is, they're not full pseudopod legs, but I just want to kind of mimic him the best I can and run over so I can do
Give me a
some
performance check.
These are not my best skills.
So these little these little floppy semi pseudopods are flailing around you, and again it looks really weird. Everyone just ugh, and you're covered in blood and poison and goo.
And I'm gonna make a quarter step attack.
The audience becomes unsettled.
Oh man, the more I try to be entertaining, the worse I do.
All right, second one hits.
All right. So I'll do some damage, and I am going to try to stunning strike him again.
Okay.
It's not a very high DC, but
come on, Gorma.
Well,
okay.
He probably still would have made it with a 5 with his, well, maybe not with the bonuses. All right. And then I will do I'll use my last key point and do another flurry of blows. They're not always in the places that are helpful.
Yeah.
So I
It's under items or something weird.
Oh, that
First one misses. You do have 2 player rerolls.
Does that one hit?
That one hits.
All
just
right.
barely.
So
You're kidding me. So the creature is sort of like scurrying away, and you like just get right up on it and just like wail right in between two of the carapace plates and just like pull your little gooey arm out. And like there's like some organ trails behind. Like you've done critical damage to Gorma. But she is up and alive, and she turns on you, and you can see like the fierceness in the face and desperation and hatred.
All right, Zeph. All right, Zeph, you should kill it now.
Zeph, you're up.
His eyes are on the big beast, but he's going to direct his spirit to move right over here, and he's going to put the healing spirit right on top of Commodore Crux. He said, "You're going to take this whether you like it or not. I'm going to help you." And then he's going to fly up and be among the Hadozi. He's like doing the wrestler thing where he's like in the crowd. One of his little like 4 arms is grabbing a beer and taking a swig while he's getting ready with his arrow. And he's just like, you guys are looking for a name for me. You call me like something cool, like, I don't know, Emerald Arrow, or I'm not sure. You guys, it's up to you. But here we go. I'm going to take a couple of shots. First
and yeah,
one.
they're handing you their drinks and like cheering and like, getting out of their seats and everything. Emerald Arrow, Emerald, like, it's hard to chant, but let's do it. Emerald Arrow. Okay, that's a hit.
And I'll put the extra damage on this first one. Oh, so spinny. Oh. That one's only 6 points. Second
Okay.
shot.
No need.
Oh.
How does your first shot fell, Gorma?
Well, I think he just saw that organ trail that Placebo is pulling those guts out of the thing, and he's just gonna sink an arrow right into where that breach in its carapace is.
Yeah, it's a perfect shot. Hits right in, burrows, and the creature reels up. Gorma like goes like almost to the ceiling, just like rears, and then like falls backwards, and just this gush of goo just splatters out all over Placebo, and she's just covered in like the whatever like bug insect blood. I'm just this size. I'm not sure what it would look like, but it just pours everywhere. This black green blood, and it just collapses in this long trail. And the crowd goes wild, and they're just like chanting "Emerald Arrow, Emerald Arrow," and then
His little hands out, claps, claps, claps.
And the creature dies, and you have this bunch of corpses all over the place, and there's just blood of all kinds of aliens that you've just killed ruthlessly. And Vokath will just, again, that loud but obnoxious slow clap, and he'll stand up and say, "Enough! We have our new winners, the travelers from Mucopia. They have proven their worth this evening." And then as soon as he's getting into his speech, the dome shatters. And it's like basically like the top of the dome just explodes out, and glass rains down on everyone. And you'll take give me dexterity saving throws.
Round 4, huh?
You want to beat a 15. Koraz, you're good.
Oh no. Can I use one of these player rerolls?
It's all right.
Yeah, why not?
I'm gonna use
Sure,
one.
why not?
Oh.
I'm at full health. I'm fine.
All right. And Crux needs to
Maybe.
do one too. And just basically this extremely thick glass comes descending from the ceiling. And those of you who did not save, you will take what came out? 44. For some reason Gorma rolled it, but Gorma didn't do this. You'll take 15 if you didn't save, and 8 if you did save.
Would this be something I could use evasion on?
What does the evasion say?
Well,
That's
I
dexterity
can
based.
dodge out of the way of certain effects like lightning breath or fireball. So when I need to make a dex saving throw to take half damage, I take no damage.
Yep.
Or yeah.
Yeah, that totally works. That's literally what this
Good.
is, a dexterity saving throw. So it's glass falling, raining from the ceiling. It's been like shattered.
Because the 7 would have knocked me out. So I'm glad.
That's what I was going for. So
Let me ask you, as this is shattering and whatnot, do I see any of the eggs nearby that dropped off of Gorma on the ground?
yes, there's hundreds of eggs.
Oh, hundreds. Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, several of them, you've destroyed them, so maybe probably like several dozen left over. But Gorma's crushed a bunch as well.
Curious.
I was wanting to grab one to raise it as my very own. Were you going to do something?
He kind of wanted to do that. Yeah, he kind of wanted to like grab the egg and be like raise it up in the air and be like, I will raise her heiress or whatever.
I think you're better suited for it than I am.
Yeah, so you held that egg up. We'll say this happens right before the glass shatters, just so to get that moment in.
There's
so
no
you've
room
got
on this
baby.
caboose. Sorry, that's all you there, Koraz.
You have an egg. Maybe you pick one of the plumper ones that looks more like healthy. And it, we'll see how that goes post campaign. So, but anyways, yeah. So you've got a hold of this egg, and then the glass just shatters, and the crowd like covers, and several of them take some damage from some of the glass. It mostly falls directly into the arena. And in the kind of ensuing chaos, the couple seconds after the shattering, a dragon descends into the arena. I'll pull the token on. It's this long serpentine solar dragon, and this is really actually quite high up in the sky. Riding it is a humanoid figure clad in extremely fancy armor with the visor over his face, and you can see the same color hair from the astral elves that you've seen kind of flowing outside the helmet. And he hovers, about 50 feet off the arena ground floor and announces himself to the crowd and says, I am Prince Zelith. Where is my sister? I have come to retrieve her. I know she is here. And everyone's just like hushed, panicking. And he points his sword at the lot of you.
Can you describe what she looks like?
We are oozes and Thrycreen and a GIF and a zombie pirate.
And the crowd starts to boo. Boo! Actually, some are kind of like getting excited like it's a heel turn, Or not a heel turn, but like the heel has shown up, like the real like problem, and then but so they're like they're like boo. They're not into it.
What makes you think we'd want to hang around with people, with your people anyway? You're trying to kill us, for Christ's sake.
He there's no need to even roll. He says, I know she is here. I have cast divination. I know she is somewhere in this compound. If you give her to me, I will not have my ship fire on everyone.
Maybe you should come down here and talk like a true nobleman would, instead of issuing threats from the back of a dragon.
Ha! You think that I am your equal? No, you are food for me, for my planet.
Ooh, that might not have been the right thing to say to Ichabod. I got a 3rd level shatter. How high up is he?
He's 50 feet in the air.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So we won't do Pythagoras. We'll just say 80 feet total.
Do it.
Ichabod
Although
just-
I said do it to Winston right before his character died last time.
No, Ichabod is trembling, and if he had eyeballs, he'd be glaring. up at the prince and just says, "Haven't you done enough, you cad?"
And as you're exchanging this word, you can hear "stop" from the audience. And if you look up, kind of near the collection of the Cicerons, you'll see that Princess Sidali has come out. And she'll say, "No, you fool, he will just incinerate you in seconds."
Zephistopholes is trying to teach his kids a bit about peer pressure as he's trying to gauge what the Hadozi want him to do next. What do you guys think? What should I do? What'll make you happy?
The Dozy they look a little, they're like very enthralled by you, and they're like patting you on the back and like, but when this all starts to happen, they go quiet and they're kind of like looking at each other, just trying to decide how to act. And they'll kind of shrug and just say, I think maybe don't upset the big scary dragon.
Okay, make room. Get a seat for me so I can sit with you guys. You got some popcorn. Let's just watch and see what happens.
So they'll make space for you. You can get yourself a little folding chair and sit down with a bag of some kind of nugget-shaped food they've been chomping on. But anyways, this all this happens. So Dolly is over here, and she's basically at the top of the arena, and she'll just say, "Let me see what you can do. Can she do any stuff?" Yeah, she will fly down right beside you, Ichabod, and just say, "Stop! My brother will kill everyone in this entire arena. Please, I've told you time and time again, stay out of the Xaryxian politics. There's no room for you in it. You are making things harder for me." And she's kind of chastising Ichabod. And she says, "Please, back up. Let me speak to my brother in peace."
Do I get the impression she's being sincere or putting on a show? Since I'm very in, communication,
insight
verbal
check.
and nonverbal.
Yeah, roll me an insight check because you are emotional right now. But I will say that you still have an insight into people's behavior. You get the impression she has something in mind and she wants you to get away from him.
Ichabod will bow deeply to her and say, "Very well. As you are the true the heir of Xaryxis, I yield to you." And he steps back while still glaring up at the prince.
And she will kind of indicate you should back up further.
Come over here, brother. I'm gonna go by the rock and get my, just kind of nonchalantly reach up and get my rod, while all this is going.
You retrieve your rod.
Mm-hmm.
Grimzod probably notices a couple extra arms on his back right now, kind of looking over.
So, yeah, and Grimzod just like whatever. He's like not even barely here. And Crux, by the way, went unconscious with those the glass that fell from the ceiling. He's
Oh.
bleeding out over there. Does anyone have a healing word they want to use,
Well,
or is Crux gonna die?
What did all that happen before his turn or after his turn?
is he on the ceiling spirit?
Yeah, because if it happened before his turn came up, he'd get the healing spirit.
Okay, he'll get the healing spirit. So Crux will have like I don't know, whatever. Like you can roll for it. There we go. 5 hit points. He's back up.
More
Zeph,
grenades
like,
in our future.
you called that one. You were like, you know what? He's gonna need this.
He's gonna need a little extra.
Almost like the gods are out to get him or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this all happened, and when Zadali approaches her brother, and she kind of engages him, and they have a little back and forth. And she's just like, "Well, what do you tried to cast me aside? What do you want?" She's like, and he says, "Our father is dead. He has perished, and now it is time for me to ascend as the emperor, the one true emperor. I need my sister beside me to show her support to make the transition smooth." And they start to have this kind of argument. And while they're having this, and maybe you're like trying to like dial in or something, you will, those of you who are clumped over here in a group, you'll hear Sadali whispering to you. and she'll tap probably Ichabod on the back, maybe just make herself known. She's invisible, and she will say, "Yeah, you fools! You almost got everyone killed. But listen, that is not likely my brother. Just like that is not me talking to him. That is my illusion. Probably his illusion as well. He's more than likely on his ship. But we don't have much time. Do you still have my ring?"
I do.
Okay. The only way out of this is if I go with my brother. You hold on to that ring. Take it. If you take it to the temple, you can use that ring to save your planet. You can save Macopia, but you must bring it. Follow after us. Make your coalition. Attack. Gain access to the Citadel. And you can use that to... well, actually, no way, she would say. And if you have it, I can... and you can rescue me. I can use that ring. But if I take it with me, it will be stolen. Bring it to me on the Citadel, and I will help you to destroy the planet. Destroy the Xaryxis. And free your planet.
We will follow your commands, Your Majesty.
And she will stop talking to you, and then after their little exchange, she will turn around. The illusion will say, "Well, enough of this talk then, Zalith. If you promise to leave these people alone, I will go home with you. I will support you." And he lowers the dragon to the ground and says, "Come with me, sister." And he brings her up on the dragon, and assuming nobody does anything, they're going to fly away.
I'm going to wave. Bye.
Okay. So you wave goodbye, and they fly out. Vokath is just been sitting there the whole time, stunned. And as soon as the dragon flies up, and he flies up through the shattered ceiling with the shattered dome. Vokath will announce, "Well, I am glad that did not escalate any further. I guess this is the real end to our games. Everyone, I think it's time that we do some cleanup. So, games are over. Bye-bye." And then basically the doors fly open, Githyanki guards start to usher everyone out of the arena. And Vokath will indicate to you, "But I made you a promise, so when you're ready, come speak to me again." And he will...
How do we get back? You teleported us to... Okay, bye.
Oh, that's true. He will, I'm sorry. So he will teleport you out of the arena, and he'll just kind of like teleport you out to the front. Basically, it's like, if you want to come talk to him, you can, or you can talk amongst yourself and plan, basically. I just want to give you a chance to have a beat before you immediately get teleported back into the room.
Well, the good news is I think we gave the arena an unforgettable encounter. The bad news is we sort of lost some leverage while the princess was visibly taken in front of all 5 factions.
Well, but maybe that will show how important it is that we all work together.
Wait a minute, wasn't there another bug here too? Where'd he go? Where'd Zeph go?
Oh, the Emerald Arrow. The Emerald Arrow is over there.
Hey, woo! Where are we going next, guys?
Yeah, and Zeph, you would pick up on, while this is all happening, the Hadozi are like really digging it, and like as soon as the threat's gone, they're immediately to like, they got cigarettes out, they got beer, they have like some kind of rancid wine they're drinking, and they're just like having a good time. And the Arakakra, though, they seem very disturbed, and they don't have to be ushered out, because as soon as they get a chance, they are out of here. So I'm not going to play like moving the tokens around. There's literally I think 80 tokens on the screen. So I'm not going to move all the factions about, but just understand that they seemed upset.
Zeph is just going to turn to some of the Hadozi and be like, well, What's up with those guys? They seem like they got a stick up their ass.
They all kind of nod and just say like, "Oh, they are." What can you say that they are? They are. How do you say it? Like you said, stick up ass. Takes a drag from a cigarette. And what you would surmise, Zeph, is it seems like the Dozy are very impressed by your display, and maybe the Aarakocra were very upset that they were almost attacked by the Xaryxians. So
Almost is subjective, you know.
that's true. I think that's true. We could read that several ways, either direction. So let's do this. I could use a little break. So let's take a couple minutes. Why don't we take 10 and we come back? What we're going to do is basically, just to kind of give you all the context, Vokath he's back in his chamber, kind of like getting himself ready to meet with you. As soon as you are ready and want to make your pitch, he's going to basically arrange, like the agreement was he would arrange a meeting with all the faction leaders. He would use sort of like his clout to do that. But y'all can kind of think through, like, are you ready to do that? Do you want to talk to Vokath and just sort of think through like how you want that meeting to go? Because at this point, it's basically, the idea is you would have an option to interact with these factions on your terms, essentially. But let's take 10. We'll come back and we will resolve this situation. Alrighty, everybody, we're back. Thank you for hanging with us on a little bio break. And we, just to recap for anyone who's jumping in, the party successfully defeated Queen Gorma, and have captured at least one of her eggs. But unfortunately, Prince Zalith had been tracking them using divination and knew that his sister was here and has come to take her ostensibly to reinforce his political claim now that their father has died. So if party recalls, the emperor was on his deathbed, and now that he's dead, it's time for ascension. So, but since the brother has already supposedly done some bad things, this is probably not good for the princess. And that is where we left off. And so now what's happened, just to give everybody a recap, Vokath has agreed to support the party making a connection to the different factions. He had proposed that he just basically sets up a meeting or a dinner and has everybody come in. But since he performed so well in the arena, he's basically just like, look, and also in light of what just happened, whatever you want, he's going to set it up. So you all have the chance to think that through. As it currently stands, all of the factions have been ushered out by the Githyanki soldiers. So the heavy metal dudes, they pushed everybody out and have been kind of like trying to clear the arena since it got attacked. And what the party has figured out very obviously is the Hadozi were like big fans. They're very impressed by the fight. They bonded with the Emerald Arrow and were very into the shenanigans of the party. And it seemed like the Aarakocra, say it differently every time, the Aarakocra were upset. The bird folk. And no one else, there's no real read on the other three factions that were there. So, party, how would you like to proceed?
Do we all think that meeting with them kind of one by one makes the most sense, starting with the easiest one so we can use them as leverage to try to convince the others as we go? Anyone?
I'm with that.
Anyone?
That's
You are
probably
very
smart.
wise, brother. I defer to your judgment.
All right. Well, then Ichabod would start by asking Vokath, like, please don't let any of them leave the moon, or at least let them know that they will be summoned, so that we can meet with them one by one, and we're gonna start with the Hadozi.
Okay, so why don't we just go ahead and say this? I'll move your token just for the sake of moving them, but we'll put you in the room with Vokath, and so you're pitching Vokath on meeting the factions one at a time, right?
Yes.
Okay. Vokath will say, "Well, listen, in light of the intrusion from the Xaryxian uh, devils, I am in favor of doing such a thing. I will issue a command. No one can leave." And so he whispers it to his Githyanki captain, the one with the eye patch. And he kind of gives a little bit of a, "Are you sure?" look. And then Vokath just claps and he teleports out. And he is going to go basically command the other groups to, you can't leave. You owe Vokath. You got to talk to Vokath's friends before you leave. He says, "So you want to speak to the Dozy first?"
Yeah, we also would have brought Snapper, our Tuck friend that we pulled off of the Tarask moon for moral support.
Sure. Okay. Sure. And I'll just, as a reminder, I'll put him there just so I can remember that you have him. Where did I put him? Put him as a faction. Snapper. All right, there's Snapper. Ignore the red token. He's good. Snapper goes crazy. Starts
Starts attacking.
He's a loose
He
cannon.
grows 10 times his size. So yeah, and y'all are looking pretty rough. But there's really no time to process. This is pretty much like going to happen. So just keep that in mind in case you, well, I mean, y'all make your own decisions. So, so Vokath will support that. And so we'll handle this just in case anything happens. We're going to, I'll move everyone into like this meeting room. So I will say this. I know there was some talk about potentially scouting out before these meetings. I would say that you could do that if you wanted. But as soon as you're ready for Vokath to have the meeting, it's time to go.
I think we decided to strike while the iron was
That's
hot,
right.
while the memory was fresh in everyone's mind and adrenaline up, and just trying to capitalize on our 5 minutes of fame here.
Cool. All right. So you'll be brought into Vokath's meeting chamber, and it's essentially this. It's kind of actually like a conference center with all the little round tables with food on them. And Vokath is at the front, and he is going to usher in the Hadozi. And I won't put their tokens or anything, but the Hadozi come in, and you will be greeted by a scraggly-looking Hadozi who wears a tight-fitting metal helmet. And he comes in with this faction of like another like 6 or 7 Hadozi. And as soon as they see the party, this Hadozi just starts to like, they get excited. They're like, "Yeah," and they just start to clap like really enthusiastically. They are very friendly towards you. And
Ichabod would raise a glass to them and welcome them into the room. And since we're going to be talking to 5 different factions, I'm not necessarily going to RP everything Ichabod says. I guess what I would say is he would start by thanking them for coming and basically explaining what had happened, why the dragon was there. He would cast the Xaryxian astral elves as sort of bullies of the astral sea, and how they've done so much harm, including some of the refugees that are living in doom space. And unless we stand up against them, and we have a secret weapon, it's only a matter of time before they return and make everyone's life miserable. And basically, yeah, that, and like join our armada.
cool. So, and we don't have to role play the whole thing out, but this guy who enters himself his name is now been canonically changed to Mojo Joe. And he'll introduce himself, and again, he's a fan, but he'll just say like, "Oh, that's he's terrible. I don't know what else to say, but You strike a very convincing argument, but I have to represent my faction, not just myself. Hadozi humans, we have it very hard on our moon. Yort, the name of the moon. It's a barren place. We struggle to survive. I don't know what I can offer you.
Well, presently we are looking for troops, lacking, ships, troops, munitions. This alliance, yes, it will begin as a force against these dark astral elves. But in the aftermath, we hope that the alliance will continue to thrive, and we can build, trade agreements and other political ties together. So this would be the first step, overcoming the enemy, and then, that will buy everyone in the faction, in our armada, goodwill. So that's another reason to be a part of it rather than standing against it, because your station will not be improved, sadly, if you remain isolated.
Okay. Anyone doing anything to contribute to this conversation or sway the Hadozi?
I mean, I guess Koraz would just kind of like bump his friends and kind of whisper like that Mukopia, is going to need help rebuilding, and if these Hadozi need somewhere to go, like Mukopia welcomes everyone.
That is
Like,
true. We are a very, very peace-loving planet, which is partially, puts us at a disadvantage. We were not expecting this attack. We only recently have, opened ports for spell jamming vessels. We are in the very early stages of interacting with other worlds, and we certainly would remember our friends. And there's plenty of space on Macopia. We ooze folk don't tend to take up a lot of space, and we don't have the same interest in property and land and as some of the other species do.
He's considering. Go ahead and give me a persuasion check with advantage from the help.
Right.
Yeah, no problem. He'll go back and confer with his lieutenant and say, "Well, we cannot give you very much, but I can maybe offer up a few ships. Again, we hope that you will be remember what we do to help. I have 3 space galleons that we can offer, and I will take mine as well. I will, 3 total, but I will personally pilot one of them. So you can add 3 ships to your armada."
We are grateful and in your debt. And again, today is a day of forging friendships, and we are honored that you are the first among the factions we are speaking with today to join in our righteous cause. And he will shake, bow, and then kind of forward and extend a hand and a handshake.
He will grasp your slimy, gooey arm or whatever shape it looks like, and give you a big, firm handshake, and then bring you in for a bear hug.
And you will give him a nice hearty pat on the back.
I'll join the hug because this looks like fun.
Have you cleaned yourself yet? Are you still this gooey?
I'm probably
poisony?
still every color of blood, but my mask is readjusted a little bit better.
Nice. That's right. Now you got a smiley face back.
Mhm.
So yeah, so you will gain the 3 space galleons of the Dozy and human faction, which will come in handy when you decide to attack. So that faction is gone, and now Vokai will say, "Well, that was very smooth of you. Unfortunately, Dozies probably and the humans probably the easiest to convince. So good luck with the rest. Who would you like to talk to next?"
Point of clarification, GM. We know there are Aarakocra, the lizard folk, the Hadozi. the Artuk on the Thrycreen. Okay, so the humans and the Hadozi are one faction.
Yeah, that was the part that was not totally like I didn't do a good job of representing it with tokens, but the basically on Yort, there's like a group of humanoids, and it's mostly humans and Hadozi that have kind of bonded together or to survive on that dangerous moon. So,
I think we will try the Artuk next, and we probably will want to have another faction in between them and the Thrycreen, just so they don't like pass each other in the halls. And maybe we will send Snapper back to the ship after that. So maybe we will do the Artuk next, and then maybe the lizard folk. Yes, let's do that.
So Vokath, he gives you kind of a querying look, a quizzical look, and just say, "All right, Artuk it is." I'll say this: a couple things, and one, they don't speak common. So
Yes, we have our Thrycreen translators. They've helped us before, and that's how we've made friends with dear Snapper here.
Okay. All right. Their faction leader's name is Vortshu. Vortshu.
At least he's not from Yort, because that would really be funny.
Vortshu from Yort. That's right. This is the actual name. I should have given him a fake name too. Anyway, so Vortshu is their leader, representative. He's an elder Artuk. So, okay, well, it's fine. And he just kind of like snaps or claps or whatever. And a few moments later, the Artuk will be brought into this chamber, teleported in. Yeah, and I saw this Discord that it looks like Swamp Thing. So this creature is like
Man Thing, which also looks like Swamp
there
Thing.
you go.
Dead.
Yeah, it's a very crazy looking plant with like I mean they're all sort of starfish shaped, but the elder is extra large. It's a large creature, and there's a couple of those little weedlings that look like Snapper have come along with it. They come in as a crew, and they move tightly together. And they don't seem very interested in the food or the pleasantries. They seem upset and cold and distant.
Okay. Well, Ichabod would start by welcoming them. He's not going to be super effusive and warm. He's going to more try to appeal to their sense of honor, giving what we have learned of them from Crux's pal, whose name escapes me. Warwick, yeah. So, but he is going to like shower them with praise, acknowledging that they are renowned warriors and how they have heard great tales of the Tarask hunts that the Artuk undertake, and which is why they will would be such an important ally against this dishonorable foe that surprised attacked Macopia, a peaceful people. Basically again playing up the bully angle and how the universe needs capable warriors to defeat those who would pick on weak prey. So he's really just trying to kind of play up like, hey, I know you're warriors. We need you. You're awesome at what you do. And these other people are just taking advantage of the weak.
Got it.
Anyone else want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think Koraz would probably offer to act as the translator. And if possible, he would almost try to convince the leader and Ichabod that they have to be holding his hand for it to work, and so kind of urging them to hold his hand so that they can they can speak to him psychically, and he can speak to.
So you will get about 5 or 6 words transmitted psychically, and then you'll hear back. And so like that big long speech that Ichabod had drawn up, we don't even get into the meat of it. You're just sort of like, well, we're going to hold hands, and that's how we communicate. And you'll just hear, in your head, very loud and forcefully, "I won't speak with the flesh eater. Be gone."
Would you speak with one of your own race that travels with us?
Well, give me a persuasion check. Because it sort of doesn't want to talk to you anymore, but it's does see that there's a there's a weedling hanging out at this party.
16.
And it relents a bit.
Is
And then I'll say something like, "We are honorable people. You can this one that travels with us. He came with us willingly and travels with us willingly. He is not our captive, and we will, if he agrees, we'll release him to you to speak with you. Speak with him however you wish."
Okay. David, are you adding something?
Just gotta say, if Ichabod learns of like what, of the problem, the sort of Thry-Kreen Artuk friction, he would add that the point of this alliance is to put aside differences to fight a greater evil, and again, the idea that going forward, having more civilized relations among all the factions, which may include the Thry-Kreen, and we hope will include the Thry-Kreen.
So this is sort of taking on a comical component. It's like you're telling Koraz, who's then telling Snapper, who's then telling the guy. Is that right? That's
Yeah.
the chain of events.
Yeah, like
I'm just amused by this.
yeah, like I would talk to one and then I would talk to the other, all in our heads. So around us, everything is very quiet.
So they're referring to the Thry-Kreen as the flesh eaters? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you may or may not recall, especially Koraz, who actually maybe has
I
a
just
little-
took a lick. It was just a lick, you know?
So there's this so there's this tension that in the room that there's two Thry-Kreen as a part of your group that are trying to negotiate a deal with the Artuk, and but we I think we've come to, with that persuasion roll of 16, we've come to an agreement that Snapper can do the communication. And they seem to soften a little bit when Snapper talks and kind of vouches that you were honorable and are very strong warriors, as they've already seen, and kind of like stands up for you. And we'll do the communication.
And then Koraz will step back then as and like, just kind of just be like, "Hey man, I mean no harm."
Okay. So Ichabod, give me a persuasion check for your speech.
I mean, I'll continue to translate to our Artuk, who talk to their rest of the Artuk in our minds.
So Ichabod, that works because you are a super strong bard. This is like your moment for your character. The DC was 20 because they're angry, but basically they're just going to listen through and they'll communicate back as you're kind of like trying to like plead the case that you're going to stand up to the bullies and protect the weak. They'll kind of communicate back and just basically say, intimate the idea that the weak deserve to be preyed upon. They are prey by definition. That's what the weak are. But the Xaryxians have embarrassed us, and we are more than happy to join a battle to bloody their noses and show them who's strong. And so they will offer up to the coalition that you will get 5 lamprey ships. So these are like the little, kind of look like little, what the heck is a lamprey? It's like a fish, isn't it?
It's like an eel,
Eel.
right?
An eel.
Uh,
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Oh
it was
yeah,
the ones
lamprey
with the little
eel.
thing on top of their head, but I guess I was
Oh
wrong.
no, yeah, that's yeah, I thought so too. I was thinking that's the angler. Yeah, so you'll get their lamprey ships. You'll get 5 of those.
Awesome. And Ichabod will thank them again, not over profusely, and we'll just say, it'll be uh, glorious to fight beside them in battle.
I think at this point, should we also maybe give
Kapla! No, I'm just-
Snapper the option to go with them if he so chooses?
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to, Ichabod, doesn't mind having him around, but
I'm just saying, yeah, if he wants to be with, like, I guess his people, same planet.
I would leave it
Yeah.
up to
He
him.
did kind of end up with us because he was like running away from a giant monster,
That's true. Snapper will go with them. Yeah, he would express interest in that. That he was just along with the party just to kind of do his part of their kind of exchange, and he wanted to lead you out to safety, but also go with you to help you in negotiation. Like literally, this is the reason he went. So, and he will basically say like, "Yeah, I'm out of here. Good luck. I will serve aboard one of the ships, and you can expect to see me fighting beside you against the Xaryxians."
Godspeed, Snapper.
He bristles up and makes little crunchy twig cracking noises and just rolls out of the room. So that is the end of that faction. So we've got a couple factions left. The Aarakocra are angry with you. And then you got the Thrycreen, and you also have the Cicerin. The lizard people, the crocodile
So
people.
if the Aarakocra are already mad at us, making them wait probably isn't going to do much damage. The more we can say we already have, 3 to 4 other factions with us, it'll just give us more leverage. I think we should talk to the I can't remember the names, the lizard folk next, and then the Thrycreen, and then the Aarakocra. Does that sound amenable to everyone?
Unless they get angry because they're left for last.
We'll say I can make up
Save
for
the
that.
best for last. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
we will find ways to try to assuage them, but they will be the most difficult. I don't know much about. Well, I don't know how much Ichabod actually knows about them. David, the player, doesn't know much about them, so they're kind of a big X factor in all of this. So I think the more strength we can show, the better our odds.
Especially if they were concerned about being attacked. Then if we have a strong show of force, that might be reassuring to them.
I also feel like if we can convince both the Thrycreen and the Artuk, and they're both in our coalition, that could probably be kind of impressive. Some people,
Right.
some
Mhm.
natural enemies. So
Yeah. Yep. I think it'll just be a lot harder for them to say no, especially if we can secure the other ones. It'll be that much harder for them to say no. We're going to be the only ones who aren't, and then at a distinct disadvantage post-war.
hmm. Look, rebuilding Mukopia is going to take an army, man. Got a whole economy.
That's right. I mean, we were pretty isolated to begin with, so it's going to be
Well,
a
and
whole.
I'm sure other planets will want to welcome heroes as well.
It's true.
Other planets who may have been
yeah.
negatively impacted.
Yeah, by Xaryxians. Sounds like they've done
Mhm.
this a bunch. Yeah.
So DM, I don't think we've crossed any NPCs that are Suran or Suran. Can I make any kind of roll to see what Ichabod may have learned about them just in his studies?
Yeah.
Since
Give me a history check.
I do have that scholar background. All right.
Yeah, so you may have studied about them, or yeah, so you would know that they are what would you hit? 19? That's pretty good. I'll tell you that you would know a couple things. You would know that they are you have maybe never met one, but you've read about them. They're from a wild space, a planet in a wild space, a very rugged, dangerous place called Athos.
That's where I'm
And
from.
that's where you're from. There you go. So yeah, so you would know them. You would know them for sure. They're natively from Athos, but they have been they're very religious and kind of in a tend to follow old gods or elemental beat gods, pragmatic peak creatures on Athos. If you're from Athos, Koraz, I forgot about that. You would definitely know them as well as being. You could add this extra color that they are not an evil people, but they are willing to hurt people if they need to survive, because Athos is a very dangerous place, hard to survive. Um,
Would I
and
know anything about their gods or the practice of the religion of gods?
let's see. I mean, you live there, right?
That's where I was born.
Yeah, give me a history check.
Gods.
I'll just see like how much you interacted with them. So, hold on. Pull it up. Doop, doop, doop. Yeah, I'm gonna give you. You will know some basic stuff. You basically know that they are like elemental cultists to some degree, but not necessarily the bad kind.
Not like defilers. They're not like defile.
I mean, there is one that's called a defiler, actually, but
So they, yeah, okay.
So exactly like that,
So
actually.
exactly like that, yeah.
They're the good kind of defiler, guys. It's fine. It's fine.
So they worship magma, sun, and fire. These are elemental entities and earth elements. But there are some that follow a more ancient religion that you don't know the details of. All you know is they believe that Athos is the world egg, and that they came from the world egg. So they're like sort of like this special creature. So there's a group that do believe that they're like birthed from Athos.
Knowing that they share a homeworld, Ichabod would ask Koraz, like, any tips for how to speak with them, how to entreat with them, any customs I should be made aware of?
Yeah, and of course, I mean, I'll share everything.
Oh, I lost you. Are you still talking?
Hello?
Hello? I hear you now.
I said, I would tell you everything the DM told me, and then, probably with a focus on kind of the religious stuff, knowing that they're a very religious race, and that give you some names of some of the gods, and maybe, I'll let you know that I'll plan to say something about, me coming from the world egg as well, and this, that, the other thing to try to set the stage for, whatever, try to get in.
Cool. Yeah, so you'll have a little bit of extra insight to their culture and everything. Before we kind of move on, I'm curious what Zeph and Placebo are up to during these negotiations.
I've been going to each table and trying the food.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's as alien and strange as you can imagine. I'm sort of imagining. You ever seen the movie Hook?
Yeah.
Do you remember the scene?
Because it has Robyn Williams in it, so
That's right.
I had to.
That's right. Yeah, it's contractually obligated.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know everything about. Anyways, but there was remember the scene they had to do like the make believe food. It's like this bizarre, weird, colorful food that they eat. It's what most of these tables are like, just like incomprehensible, colorful, strange delicacies all over the place. And you keep trying them, and I don't know what your flavor profile is or how sophisticated your palate is, but this is wide-ranging, strange food.
I am doing this with an intention to understand different cultures better. So it isn't just eating food, it is my cultural assimilation.
Okay, cool. Roll me a history check.
I'm like picturing like a bunch of food floating around in your goo. Like
yes, I'm literally assimilating it into my body.
Like Jello with fruit inside of it.
Yeah.
Oh, like one of those really gross ones they used to make in the 70s that had like meat and stuff.
olives. Yeah.
We made one for
Oh.
Christmas once, just for fun, but we did not eat it. Thank God.
It was a conversation
11.
piece.
Yeah,
You're eating a lot of strange foods, and it's odd. Maybe not even sure how to describe the flavors. You feel like you're getting more cultured, but you are not getting more cultured. Roll too low. I was trying to think like, what do I do? She rolls above a 15. I'll give her like a +1 on like history checks or something. That's not even a thing. I don't know. I'm supposed to figure something out. Okay, cool. And then Zeph, what are you doing with all the children?
So these like leaders are coming in with like their posse, right? Like they've got entourages that are coming in. So I think he's just like side talking, like while the the talking heads are talking and they're working out deals. Zeph is just like, depending on like who it is, like the Hidozi come in and he'd probably just like have all of his kids kind of on display. He's like, yeah, I get it. Like you got to look out for yourself. Me, I'm out here doing this and I'm trying to take care of 200 kids while I'm doing it. It's a struggle. And he's trying to endear himself to them. And then like the war, like Artuk come in, and he's like, now all that's going up there, that's just a fancy way of saying, let's go kick some ass. And like, he's just like small talking like the common people, basically trying to get their maybe support to support whatever their leader's decision is going to be.
Cool. Yeah, and the kids are doing like kids do in an important meeting and just running wild, making noises.
eating the
Getting
food.
in
Sneak like
trouble.
under the tables.
They're fighting. Yeah, totally. Cool. So then we'll have the Ciceran. I'm gonna say Ciceran. It's 2 S's. All right, it's got to be something like that. Ciceran.
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 Like Cobra Commander whenever he
Yes.
did the equivalent thing.
So
I
they
think
come in
now the lead Cern has to talk like Cobra Commander. And go.
I can't remember how the Cobra Commander talks. Actually, now that you say
He
that.
talks like with a weird voice, like hi.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
Not too far off from Zorak. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty close. I was just doing Zorak trying to do it more high pitched.
Yeah.
But what was Serpentor was was more like with.
Bisai command. No,
Yeah.
he was imperious. He was
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah.
Oh man. Okay. So the Cicerans will come in, and there's going to be all 5 of the ones you saw that were out in the audience. They'll be there, but one of them is the leader. Clearly, he's a little bigger, a little stronger. And these creatures, they look kind of like lizard folk in a way, but they're with longer necks, more like a crocodile sort of look to their snouts. They're really long, with lots of sharp teeth overhanging the jaws, and they look pretty primitive in terms of like how they're dressed, the kinds of weapons they're wearing. Like they don't have guns or anything like that. Like it's all these very like almost like Stone Age looking swords. And they seem to like sort of adorn themselves with like it's almost like an aesthetic that they were going for. You might assume, considering they have actual ships that fly around. But they come in and they seem kind of indifferent.
Ichabod would greet them with a curt bow and ask them, which gods can we thank for your company today?
And they will say, you can thank the god Athos, the world egg.
I think with that, Koraz will take Queen Gorma's egg that he is holding, and he will hold it up high and be like,
It's a joyous day. I am from the world egg as well.
and then I think he's gonna offer them Queen Gorma's egg and say,
This is the last surviving egg of Queen Gorma, the warrior. We offer it to you as a gesture of peace. And as an offering to the world egg.
Give me a persuasion check.
Nice.
Good one. So the lead Susurran say, "My name is Zothes." He'll take the egg and say, "I will take your offering, a megapede child." And he's pondering it, and the DM is deciding, does he eat it?
I was wondering if you were thinking that.
I actually thought Koraz was going to eat it when he first picked it up. To be honest with you.
There was a roll that was made that nobody saw.
And he will look at it, and he'll actually look at you, Koraz, and say, "Do you think I should consume this creature's flesh and absorb its essence and power and virility, or should I raise it to protect my clan?"
And wow, that's a good question.
Can placebo pick? She's been absorbing things,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so she'll say, not everything is absorbed in the same way. I recommend raising it to protect your land. And if an ooze could belch, I think there would be some of this, like, not everything's settling well in the ooze. So
Yeah, I'm imagining like a rack of lamb just like floating inside you, and like a bone sticking out. Okay. He'll look at you and actually, they speak Draconic. I'm gonna say he speaks Common because I've already committed to this. And he'll take the egg and he'll hand it off to one of the other Susurrans, and the other Susurran will carefully put it in like a pack. Say, "We shall raise her well. Thank you for this gift. Why do you bring us here?"
At which point, Ichabod would explain their plight. He would be he would be kind of Spartan with his words, not, talking down to them by any means, but just kind of being respectful of their time and not just their time, trying not to be overly colorful, but just very succinctly explaining the fate of his home world, which was, kind of a thriving world until the Astral Elves showed up. They have, the means to take down the Astral Elves who have been harassing worlds across, the Astral Sea and the different, wild spaces, for however long, and they hope by bringing together an alliance, it will not only in the short term help by freeing the Xaryxians from this barbaric practice and even making an ally of the Xaryxians under the princess's reign, but also, all the current occupants of Doom Space can improve their relations, and just, again, kind of a big step forward for the region. And he really would like them to be a part of this great movement that, out of respect for them and what he has learned of, their capabilities on such harsh worlds.
So he will listen, politely, and just kind of that crocodile eye, kind of every now and then. And after you've made your plea, he'll say, "We want something in return for our help. We can offer you 6 wasp ships. If you can promise to help us."
How can we be of service? Great, Zothis.
"We want you to aid us after the war in conquering Athos and reestablishing my clan on the World Egg."
Can you explain? So, have you been driven from your world? Are you exiles?
Something along those lines. But we wish to return. We feel the call of the planet.
And in what way would you see us being of service? Is this a matter of subjugating the other residents, or simply finding a place for you to settle and thrive?
He ponders sort of the question of like subjugating. I had something more clever in mind. I don't think subjugation is necessary in Athos. If you can set us up with enough resources, we could become. I guess we would have the power to control the people without subjugating them. Athos is a barren place. If we had a couple chests full of iron, we could rule. So you would help us collect resources, install us in the planet, and then we could establish ourselves how we would like.
I'll maybe put in a word to him that in this battle there will be plenty of wreckage and plenty of resources to scavenge from that wreckage, and that they are free to it, and that these types of wreckage from these Xaryxians would go a long, long way on Athos, and would make them as powerful as sorcerer kings.
And Ichabod would add that Macopia would certainly be in, the Sauron's debt, and that Macopia has resources as well, and the ooze folk, tend to appreciate all different types of materials, but doesn't necessarily appreciate iron more than anything else. So he's confident that they can mine and get a hold of iron, even if they have to go directly back to his homeworld to get it.
All right, throw me a persuasion check with advantage.
A beast.
Wow.
He's a beast.
This is what I
Seems
was
like
born
every
to
time
do.
it keeps going up by one.
Yeah. So he says, if you promise us the wreckage, we will join.
It is yours. The only thing I would add is, if there are valuables that certain captains want to reclaim from their wreckage, they shall have that right. But the broken vessels, if they are beyond repair and they are to be scrapped, that scrap will be yours.
All right, so you have the Susu Studios. I keep thinking, the Saurons. Let's just say Sauron.
Saurons.
Just the Sauron. Anyways, they will join the faction, and so that leaves the Thrycreen and the Arkakra. Vokath, by the way, after this last one is looking at you, the crew, really the two doing like the meat of the negotiation, but really everyone has been assisting a little here and there. And just say, well, you are pretty persuasive and shrewd in your negotiations. Just be careful that you don't promise one thing to another and cause a conflict, because there will be a reckoning post Xaryxian.
Yes, this is the first step, and I feel confident that the deals we have made thus far are sustainable. But your words of caution are heeded.
Some sort of when we build the coalition, some sort of board, whatever you group, senate or whatever, or something to I don't know what word I'm looking for,
Like a
but
council or something.
Senate,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just a leader from each group, so that things can be a little bit, we can get everybody's, opinions and make sure we're not screwing everybody over too hard.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're nice.
All right.
We're democratic.
So who's going next?
I bet the Admiral is very happy now. He's going to have more than one ship to command.
Are we going to allow him to command a ship, guys? He's a little suicidal. I don't know if you've noticed that. Maybe the kamikaze brigade.
You know?
I think we're gonna keep the Admiral and the Commodore and whatever Warwick is. They're all, like, we're gonna be the command ship, so we're gonna need all the these very important officers on the flagship. So
Yeah, and Grimzon and Crux are actually sharing a drink and like kind of like after the harrowing battle, and Crux is just bleeding out of like every spot of his body. He has one. I think he has 2 hit points. No, he has 5 hit points.
Oh.
Hey, not bad.
And they're actually bonding a little. Okay, so
you go.
Thrycreen or the birds.
Thrycreen next. We're saving the birds for last.
All right. So Thrycreen are going to come in, and their faction leader is named Spoop Boop. Where is it?
It's a great
Her
name.
name, yeah, Boop Boop Boop. Her name is I'm not going to say this. Damn you, Kitka. Kitka. Oh my god!
It just
I'm gonna
rolls
type
right
it.
off the tongue. What a beautiful name.
Kit. Yeah. Croc starts to say it too. Anyways, and she will come in, and the situation's very opposite to the Artuk. They seem pretty happy to see that there are 2 Thrycreen in the party. You did very well in the combat, fought intelligently and aggressively, and did a lot of damage and a lot of smart moves. And so they're pretty happy with you. And they're just open right up, and they're going to talk to the other Thrycreen, Ichabod. They're actually they're gonna remove you from the conversation to some degree, and just sort of like they want to hear from Koraz and Zeph, especially the Emerald Arrow. And they'll
And
approach you.
Ichabod would be happy to step aside, kind of wet his whistle, absorb some liquids because he's been doing a lot of talking, and let his Thrycreen companions shine.
And so Kitka will just come to Emerald Arrow and just say, psychically, you're hearing this. Just hey, that was good out there. You really gave it to him.
Well, that's all that training I do. I am licensed. I'm a licensed bounty hunter. That's right. Here's my card.
And she'll take the card and look at it and say, "Oh, hold on," and she'll pull out her card, and it's like licensed marauder or something.
Oh, cool. Wow.
Yeah, we
You're well credentialed.
Thank you. Yeah. So listen, I'll get straight to the point. We have a problem. We have decided that Artuks are my people's been fighting the Artuks, and they we got a bit of a taste for them.
Koraz too.
Hey, look, they taste really good, but I'll tell you this. This guy over here's got some recipes that are way, way better.
I know how to cook Garthok. That's true.
That's not what I was going for, man.
Oh,
Yeah, she's like, oh yeah.
we'll talk like after the war. I guess right now is like a bad time.
Say, okay, well, so listen, I get word on the street that you're looking for some allies, and listen, you let us eat some of those Artuks, and you got us. That's it, easy.
Well,
Couple dozen, that should do it.
I think that's gonna be. I mean, Ichabod's pretty good, but I don't think you can break. He's gonna be able to convince some of that.
Oh no, it just happens naturally. Like maybe one of their ships gets blown up from behind.
I mean, wait, are you insinuating like you would do that, or just like it's
I mean, just could happen. No one could say really
okay?
which direction it goes.
Yeah, let's keep it hypothetical like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, geez, this is a real pickle here. Because I suppose
This
if
is
they
a
were
private conversation, right? This is just the three. The three.
Yeah, psychic.
Okay.
I suppose
Oh yeah,
if they were,
we can speak in Thrycreen. Yeah, this is chitter chattering, just mandibles.
I guess if they're already dead, it wouldn't be like the worst thing in the world, huh? But
Listen. I'm telling you, you're not hearing what I'm saying over here. Artuk are good, right? I ain't gonna lie. I took a lick. It's good. It's great. It tastes fantastic. But this guy has cooked me some of those space fish. You know, the ones you catch up there in space. So freaking good. So freaking luscious that it would make Artuk taste like poop. All right? So listen to me. He can teach you how to do this. It's worth its weight in Artuk. You'll never think about Artuk again.
that's true. I could cook. I will cook you like it'll be like the Last Supper. You know, before we go out to the big battle, you won't be thinking about Artuk at all while you're out there. It'll be so good.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
I haven't. I took a lick of Artuk. This guy cooked for me the next day. I haven't thought about eating them not once.
Give me a deception check, Koraz.
Good, I'm better at deception than persuasion.
Okay, it's convincing.
Yeah.
Let's say, oh yeah, okay. So space fish, really?
Yeah.
I tell you what, cook us up one, and if it's as good as you say, I think maybe I can sell that back to the others. Can you make one right this moment, or do you need like supplies or something?
Yeah, just like a place where I could like use my cooking tools. So maybe I'd ask, what's his name? Our host,
Focath.
Focath. If I could use his kitchen or
He'll
go
look
to where
at you
his
like, I mean,
servants-
I guess he's observing this conversation. He probably can't understand you, but he'll be like, oh, sure. And he'll just kind of like clap. You'll poof into a kitchen where all like and like there's a bunch of gif and like a gif and a couple of dozies like just talking shit like in the back, like while everyone's having dinner. Like, ooh, and they just get shocked when you teleport into the kitchen.
I've got the extra tasty tiny anchovy. So I'm gonna like do that up and like give it, you know, garnish it, like make the plate like look all gourmet, and then
Lots
I'll
of
bring that
veggies.
out.
Lots of veggies.
That's the only fish we have, huh? Homeboy doesn't have any space fish laying around.
He's got listen. He's gonna take that. You've got a pocket. Someone's got a pocket full of fish. I can't.
Yeah,
remember.
I've got some fish, but I have this like special one that I wrote down.
Oh,
Special,
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the special anchovy fish. So yeah, you'll come back and you get poofed back as soon as you're ready. She'll look at the anchovy and say, "Oh yeah, okay. I'll tell you what. Why not? Down the gullet, poop." And she'll pop it down and just right into her little insect mouth. Chews it a bit, and then you see like that moment of recognition that it's really good. You have a feat. I don't even need you to do a roll on this. This is a delicious meal. She gets some temporary hit points off of it. And she'll say, "Oh, that was good. So you can make more of these, right?"
Oh, of course. And
All right.
you know, that's just
What he
one
does,
recipe. I mean, they're all good. So once I get to know you, get to know your palate, then I'll be able to like really, you know.
Toss me a persuasion check with advantage. Let's see it.
Ooh, let's see.
Straight,
I'll
straight
use-
12.
Can I use this reroll?
You did not need it. You
Oh,
needed
okay.
a 10 because they are friendly. So yay, you got it. So they will.
The
they'll,
fish speak for themselves.
Right. Yeah, that advantage made the difference. So, and she will say, "Yeah, okay, I can make this work." So, I'll tell you what. You keep maybe some of those art. I mean, look, if some of the Arctic happen to die, I'm just saying,
Just-
maybe some of their corpses disappear, but I think the fish will go, and we can give you 4 scorpion ships.
That
So
would be
again, I've
awesome.
got this tracked over here, so I'll put it all out to y'all. What you get your whole fleet.
Oh,
Vokath is he's staring at you. 4 for 4.
So
The real question, Vokath, is gonna be if you're gonna join us.
yes, they did destroy the roof of your arena. They have violated your territory as much as anyone else's lately. Volcath.
Mm. Well, I think that maybe first you should talk to your friends who are about to leave.
Arakakra.
I've tried to hold them back, but they are getting quite insistent.
Any tips for dealing with them? I confess I've never interacted with Arakakra before.
Sure. So their leader's name is Rika. She's an old bird, literally. She is a fierce, independent type, as are all of the Arakakra. They value liberty above all things, and I will say that they are not very happy with the outcome of Firene being destroyed. But they currently live on the planet Givek, or the moon, I mean, Givek. And they are looking to relocate. I will also say that that is the place where Thrasher and Nasher were from. The big orange guys that you
Killed.
shove sticks into their eyeballs. And yeah, so they have a bit of a Brogues have a bit of a friendship there with Yakakra, but I mean, you had no choice. You had to kill them, right? It's part of the arena.
Yeah, I remember looking back at my notes that Firene was apparently destroyed by dragons, but was it destroyed at the behest of the Xaryxians or just random dragons?
It was destroyed by random dragons, and it was basically it's a volcanic world that was despoiled by dragons, which created like a resource issue. But when the sun collapsed and created the big like gaping like kind of black hole at the center of the wild space system, the Firene was destroyed. So it is completely gone now. So it's kind of a natural disaster situation, but it was the home to solar dragons and lunar like dragons. They kind of like ruled over the planet for a while, and then they just left it barren, and then people kind of just fought over the resources.
Okay.
I don't know how much all this you would have probably heard this from somebody at some point.
Okay. Well, anyone have any final tips before we deal with the Arakakra?
Let you talk.
All right.
Get your persuasion or my deception rolls.
I shall do my best.
So Vokath will clap and he'll whisper good luck. He'll clap and a Aarakocra will come into the room. All of her feathers are gray and a little bit wispy. She has several scars on her body, obviously a warrior. And she's flanked by half dozen other Aarakocra, and all of them are looking pretty stern. And they cut straight to the chase. Rika just sort of says, I know you want me to help you, but I saw what you did to anger those Araxians. You've got some sort of political thing going on with them, and you almost got everybody killed. So it's reckless people like you that really ruffle my feathers.
Tell me this, Rika, and he's speaking very direct and stern right back to her. What would you do to protect your people? What would you give? What might you sacrifice to save an entire planet filled with your people? That is the position that my sister and I find ourselves in, and our allies, fighting for the very survival of our world, and not just our world, There are worlds who have been lost before us, and unless we act, there will be worlds that are attacked after us. Are we disappointed that the Astral Elves attacked? Of course. But it underscores the importance of what we're doing, the urgency of what we are doing. We are fighting so that we will not be oppressed by these Xaryxians who fly around on their dragons, doing what they will when they will. We are fighting for an even playing field where warriors can do as they will, where non-warriors can thrive, and just general more peace means more options. So yes, it is unfortunate that our presence here brought them, but if a few shards of glass is all it takes to ruffle your feathers, then maybe you won't be the powerful ally that I previously believed you would be.
And you can tell, like, literally her feathers are getting ruffled. Like, as you're saying this, like, she's kind of poofing a little bit. And she looks at Placebo. So I see that it runs in the family. You both are showboaters.
Well, we
think
were
it's-
told we needed to entertain in order to be able to convince people to help us.
And you thought it was entertaining to murder a helpless brogue, confused brogue, and its brother?
Helpless.
Helpless?
Helpless.
Helpless?
Why are they
Well, maybe
fighting in?
confused.
Why are they fighting in the arena if they are not warriors?
She
Why are you
points-
watching? Why are you watching this blood sport if you don't approve of it?
She points at Vokath. The brogues are fighting because of him, and she, gives him kind of a dirty look, and he just puts his hands up. It's like, listen, why was I watching? What else am I going to do? We owe Vokath our skin, our feathers, but I don't enjoy and don't pretend to enjoy these displays of savagery.
Well, I can't speak for the rest of my party, but I will tell you that I do not consider myself a warrior. I fight when I must. I've been almost killed numerous times just to get here. I am a man of words, but sometimes war is diplomacy through any means necessary, and I will use the tools at my disposal for the greater good. I took no pleasure in killing any of the creatures today. It was a means to an end. It was how we had to prove ourselves to our host here, whom you also know and perhaps find yourself in an unenviable debt to. That is the way the world works. It can't all be idealism and just pure patriotism. We have deeds must lead to greater things. So I apologize if our actions offended you, but I do not regret them because they have led to this conversation. They have led to us amassing a coalition of 4 factions. You would be the 5th, and we would love to have you among our ranks because that means you have a voice. That means you have a voice in the future of this sector. If you do not join us, I won't threaten you. I probably don't even need to point out the obvious, but that point would be that you will be on the outside looking in, and you will be doing your people no favors.
All right, give me a persuasion check. Okay. She looks at you, and again, she's obviously pretty frustrated, but the tone of your language, you calm her down enough, like the pragmatism of the practicality of your statement connects with her. She says, "Fine, I'll listen to your offer. What would you give us if we were to supply ships and troops to this effort?"
What can we offer that will help your people? I don't pretend to know your precise circumstances. We've heard stories, but I would hear it from your beak to my. Well, I have no ears, but you get the gesture.
We want independence.
And what form would that take? Are you in search of your own moon, a new planet, a continent on an already settled world? What specifically do you seek?
All that, and to have the tie severed. And she looks at Vokath. I want our debt paid.
Well, let's talk about the second condition first. And Vokath, we talked about this even before the show you had us put on in your arena. We know that you did some very good things for the people in this bit of wild space, but also that they have debts to you. What would it take for you to call off the debt to the Aarakocra?
Oh, I don't know about debts. I did what I did of the goodness of my heart. Nobody owes me anything. Bullshit. She spit.
That's very easy then. If the debt, never mind. I
Wait, but I mean, if the man is saying you don't owe him anything, I mean, we could very easily just, get that in writing all right here, right now, and you don't owe him anything.
I am a notary.
You can see Vokath's face getting bluer and bluer as you're like saying that. It's like, well, I mean, I maybe that's a phrase that you're a politeness, I guess. Suppose you're.
Oh, Kath, I'm from the damn world egg. Okay, tell us what you are looking for, what they owe you, and maybe we can supply it.
Listen, every ship that they fly, every Spelljammer helm they own, and most of the food and supplies, all those are things that I sold at a rate that had some implied strings, obviously. I mean, someone has to have to live too. Who do you think pays for all these things? And he points at all the weird food everywhere. He's like, if you want me to quantify it, I can, best I can do is this. Pay me the right market rate for everything you have, and I suppose that would be the safest way and the cleanest way to say our debts are paid and no strings attached.
Probably a lot of money because it's a bunch of Spelljammer ships and helms and stuff, right?
What is
Yeah.
the precise value, Vokath?
Hold on, I'm actually going to do a little bit of back of the napkin math here. How much is this?
We're gonna have to get creative to figure out some way to pay this off. Something having to do with spoils of war.
Get the queen. The queen.
Yeah.
The new queen will pay for it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yes, you're absolutely right, Zeph. We will have the favor of the new queen of Xaryxis when we are finished with this. So
Plus interest. How much do you want?
So let me look up how much how much these ships cost, first of all. So they have strike ships. Those ships each.
I mean, what if we propose that, once we have helped them relocate, and that they are strong and have resources, that they won't need all of these things that, Homeboy has gifted them, and that they could return it back and pay a rental fee instead of paying for them outright.
It was a
Like a
lease.
lease.
It was just a
A rent
lease.
to own. Or leasing the ships. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be over several 100,000 gold, I think.
I
The
have
ships
5.
alone would be 100,000.
yes, that's not an amount we'll be able to pool now, but when we have put the rightful queen on the Xaryxian throne, they will not have as much need for their warships. They will have fewer enemies, and at the very least, I think Her Majesty will be able to spare a few of their ships that we can trade. Not many can say that they have those. Like, what was the type of ships that they have, DM?
They're strikes.
Strikes. Like it would be. You have graciously given the Aarakocra spelljamming ships. In return, you would be getting new Shrike vessels of equal value. I would think, as someone who appreciates variety, as evidenced by your gladiators that we faced, that would be quite a sight. Not only will you have your Gith Yankee flying on Dragonback, but you would have Shrike vessels to protect what is yours, so you won't have unexpected guests bursting your bubble, so to speak.
And I may have misspoke. The Aarakocra have the Shrikes. The
Star moths or something.
Star moths are what
Lunar
the
moths, aren't
Astral
they?
elves
I
have.
thought. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, the Astral elves have Star moths. I'm sorry. I
Okay, yeah, so
misspoke that.
he's
But they-
suggesting that they'll get him Star Moths.
Yes, that is correct. Okay. And let's see how much a Star moth costs. I just want to see. I think go ahead and give
I
me.
think they're probably worth more.
I would think probably. Let's see. Doop. Just looking up. I just want to know for my own sake. Star moth is they're worth double.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
They're elven, man. That's some fancy
Mhm.
stuff.
Can I use
40
a
grand
reroll,
each.
guys? I've actually rolled a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, do the reroll.
Yeah.
Oh, I rolled a 3. All right. That's a little better.
So better. Vokath will say, tell you what, I know you promised wreckage to one because I was standing here, the Cicerans. Anything that's intact is mine. If you can bring me at least 4 star moths intact enough that they're operable, I will consider the debt paid to the Aarakocra. But not from you. Doing a favor. I'll transfer the unspoken strings. You'll owe me a favor of my choosing. In addition, so 4 star moths and do me a little favor, and the Aarakocra are off the hook.
As long as that favor doesn't work against our own interests.
Yes, as long as it doesn't compromise the future coalition we are building. Like if it's going after some giant fish creature that's been harassing your autonomes, we would be happy to do so.
Kill one big mama. He'll clap, and then this scroll will teleport in, and he'll put it on the table and say, all right, everyone sign there, sign there, sign there. Don't worry about it. You don't have to read all of these parts. And he just kind of like flips through like
Ichabod would take out his monocle. He'd be poor. He's a fast reader. But he would definitely be reading the fine print. He would not sign without reading.
Yeah, basically you have the only exception is against the coalition. So and that would directly cause you harm.
And working against our own interests.
Yeah.
And own interests are defined with like 4 or 5 paragraphs. Give me an intelligence check, Ichabod. I'm going to drag this out. And yeah, you could tell that this all seems like boilerplate legal language. Seems okay. Nothing against your own interests or against the coalition's interest.
Ichabod's pretty comfortable with that. Just again, knowing that if they win this, they'll have some political pull with the factions, and he doesn't think Volcath will be able to kind of muscle them into doing anything that they wouldn't want to do. So he signs.
Okay. And I guess I should say I need one more persuasion check because this is just to hear the deal. So the Aarakocra got to be engaged on this. You do have your special inspiration left if you want to use it, but you won't need it. You hit the 20, so you're good. So, the Aarakocra, she'll walk over and say, "Fine." Rika signs, and she'll sign her name. All right. So I guess this makes 5. Make it 6. Boka says, "I like to be on the winning side, and I smell a good deal brewing, and you can throw my name into the ring as well. I will have a few mercenaries join,
All right.
and I don't need anything in return. I just want to be a winner."
Yes, it'll be good to be on the winning side. That prestige is something that can't easily be bought, but can easily be lost. So I think that is a prudent decision, and we welcome your mercenaries and your interests among ours. the more the merrier, they say, and I think that to have a mercane such as yourself among our ranks, again, it speaks to the spirit of the endeavor. The more peoples unite, the more successful we will be.
All right. And so what net result you're going to have is you will have 30 ships.
It's not bad.
Not bad. So 30 ships, and I'll send you the details just so you can be aware of it. We're not going to do probably a lot of like very detailed ship-to-ship combat. It's going to be kind of abstracted. But I just wanted you to see, you know, that's the types of ships you've got. You got those ships. You got them all. Good job.
30 times more ships than we started with tonight.
Yes.
This is true.
Yeah.
And I guess I should say you have 31 ships because it's 30 plus yours.
Ooh.
Oh,
31's a lucky number. My
Gonna get a
first
third out of this one.
first hatch that me and my wife had was 31.
Aw.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a
Aw.
fortuitous number.
This
I
isn't
lost my hatch, but we gained allies.
this isn't your first brood, Zeph? I thought these were your first children. You have more.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
These are
you
just the
learned something
oldest.
new.
How many?
Don't make me put a number on it. I lost count.
It's like, how old are your kids? Oh shit. Okay.
Well, yeah, and Ichabod will thank Rika, and you know his demeanor will soften a little bit, but he's again not being too wishy-washy. He still kind of wants to have a show of strength with the Aarakocra, but he'll be grateful to have them in their cause, and he will also thank Bocath for being, you know, a gracious host and for making the arrangements, and how, you know, his name will be spoken across, you know, the astral sea for, you know, being an integral part of the Doom Space Coalition.
Is that what we're gonna call ourselves?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, let's go with it.
DS.
Space. I love it. Yeah, Enrico will turn, and then like one of the other Aarakocra will look at a placebo and like hold up a fist, be like, mask, like quietly. Rika gives him a dirty look.
They like the showboating. See, I told you.
So that will end the negotiations. At this point, you know, essentially you're in position to decide your plan of action, and Crux and Grimzod will give you a little bit of advice. We don't need to role play it all out, but basically it's going to boil down to, you know, we have a fleet of 30 ships. That's sizable. We can break through Xaryxian space and deal with almost anything that they're going to be able to put up to us. At least hold our own. And I guess Crux will I've attacked Xaryxians before, and as long as we get we can distract them long enough with a fleet of 30. I don't know if we can beat them, but we can certainly bloody them. Plenty of time for you to get on to the Citadel.
That's what we need to do. We need a distraction. We need to keep them busy long enough to get the princess out, and to blow up the Death Star. I think that was what we were gonna do.
Yes.
The Death Star, I like it.
We will have a meeting of the minds with our top military experts and concoct a plan that will result in the highest degree of success with minimal casualties. And he says that with a little bit more bravado than he feels, because he is not a military expert himself. And Crux doesn't really inspire a lot of confidence. Neither does Grimzod. So he's like, okay, now the hard part comes.
The shipless admiral and the
Yeah.
kamikaze commodore. Yeah, that's a great
Like Kamikaze Cap. We need to give him his own. Maybe we do give him his own ship, guys. You know what I mean? You ever see the end of Independence Day? I'm just
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Send him in. We'll give him a junker. He'll be like our our decoy,
saying.
our distraction, and then then we all drop out of warp and just pounce on the
Oh,
Now-
man.
Okay, couple things. Number one, do we know where the hell we have to? Like, this guy Commodore Crux has attacked them, so we know where we got to go to attack. Do we know where the hell the Citadel is?
Yeah, so he will describe Xaryxis. That's their world, and this is where Xaryxis is. So Xaryxis is the star at the center of this system, the small system. I mean, the Imperial Citadel is connected to it by a tether of light. It's about 300 million miles long. If we get to the Citadel, we'll have a direct connection to the sun. And we just need to avoid the fleet or distract them to get there. And anyways, he basically described like, he knows exactly where it is. And it is it's in Xeric space, which is basically like it's almost like another planet orbiting the sun and the Imperial Citadel, but it's connected to it by this beam of light. So it's really easy to see.
And then knowing that 30 ships is like our bare minimum attack ship thing. Like, do we know of anybody else that like are enemies of the Xyraxians that if we show up with a fleet, we may be able to get to join us as well? Or is this like basically all, this is what we got. This is what we've heard that we can kind of get going, and that's it.
That's interesting. I mean, it's one of those things. Yeah, I think that what would probably be advised is that this is our group. We're going to be able to make basically a surprise attack if we go now. But if we try to do more coordination, we have to leave the system and find another system.
Yeah, we just got to roll. It's time to go.
Right.
Strike while the iron's hot is the name of the game.
Well,
Yeah.
the prince is trying to become king or emperor, right? So
Oh
we
yeah,
don't
we
want
can't
to
let
give
that happen.
him too much of a chance.
we must save the princess, and yes, strike while the Iron Chef is hot. And he gives a nod to Zeph.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if Crux would have ever been to the temple or to the Citadel. I think Crux would probably know enough about the Citadel, at least because he's like opposed them for such a long time. Is that basically the Citadel is this like moth-shaped building, like this moth-shaped asteroid, more or less, and it is where like the royal family lives, and it is also where the Temple of Light is, which is this religious center that the Xyraxians use, and it's basically what is creating that connection to the sun, and it's the place where they basically do the magic to keep the sun alive. So it's has probably some connection to destroying the sun, and so you would know there's this temple that's on the Citadel. The Citadel is just orbiting the sun. And he'll just say it's not a place that we can storm by force unless we were to bring an army. But if a few of us can get on, we might be able to, in the chaos, slip in, get to the temple, meet up with the princess, stop the ceremony, and use her
Save the
powers to
world.
destroy the sun. Oh yeah, save the world.
Mhm.
Did we get the impression that we would be able to meet up with the princess, or that we would have to like abscond with the?
So, and this would have been, I kind of like cut this short for the sake of action, but she would have told you like basically she's being taken. The ceremony is going to take place on the Citadel. That's where the emperor was. That's when he's died now. That's where the sort of crowning ceremony is going to occur. And so she's going to be there with the brother. And you would know that what she has told you is that there's a ceremony that can be performed in the Citadel that will destroy the sun if you have the ring and a member of the royal family activates it.
So
It's
So
some
we
of that stuff
need-
she's told you before.
Yeah, so we need her and the ring to stop it. We can't just take the ring and do it ourselves. We need to save the princess first.
Now we
Yeah,
can
and-
communicate with her a little bit before, because I do have sending spell, so we can kind of try to coordinate with her before, while we're on our way.
Cool. Yeah, and I'm imagining too, because I want to say you had a conversation with her on the ship about this.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Mhm.
So she would tell you, and I guess I'll give you a little bit more, and then we can kind of see. Is like basically the temple has a thing called the astral font, and the astral font is this.
Helvetica?
It's not that.
It's papyrus. Damn it.
Papyrus. No. So the astral font has a connection to the sun. That's like it's like basically this inside the temple on the Citadel. There's this thing called the astral font, which is like a 40-foot diameter, 2-foot pool of glowing liquid that is that basically like connects this star beam to the sun. And she would tell you that if you bring the ring to that font, you can perform a ritual to destroy Xaryxis. Basically, like sever the beam and destroy it.
Did she give us any idea of what the role of the person in the royal family was? Like, did she have to like do an incantation or something, or like, if they just had to be like wearing the ring and be there or something? Or
Yeah, she would have said that. Yeah, just if there is a member of the royal blood, so it would have to be either her brother, or her father, or their her children, or her brother's children, which they don't have any yet. So it would just be basically her brother, or her father have this ability.
they would just have to. They would have to do it. They would have to.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So like at the font, there's an ability to access it to basically cast spells. And if you are at the font and you drink the water, and I'm not sure how much she probably would have told you this. I'm assuming you're asking me, you probably would have asked her. She would have told you this. But if you drink the water, then you have to do a saving throw. If you pass a saving throw, if you fail it, you take damage. If you pass a saving throw, you gain the ability to cast any spell from a cleric or wizard spell list. So 7th level or lower. So basically, it gives you like magic powers. But if you have the ring, you can also use the ring to basically break the connection between the planet and the font, which would destroy the sun and the font, which would destroy the sun.
I guess Koraz is at this line of questioning is because he's trying to come up with like a backup plan if something happens to the princess.
Mm-hmm.
Take the prince, force the water down his throat, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't sound like that would work, really.
Maybe.
Because he'd have to willingly choose to destroy whatever magic that has to do with the star, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna have to keep the princess alive, y'all.
Or
Yeah,
or do you have a spell that could make him, like, you just suggest he does it and he'll do it, right?
I wish that sounds awesome.
That's my next one.
Okay. We really would appreciate you helping us by destroying your son. Magic. I don't understand magic, so.
I mean, I can try to befriend him, and I can try to calm him, and I can hold him. I can hold him in
Come
place,
on, buddy.
but I don't have the means yet to command him.
I'm telling you, if you need something having to do with like tentacles, man, I got you. But controlling people,
You can intimidate him, maybe.
I'm getting there.
Worst comes to worst, Ichabod and Koraz just use shatter on the font and just like destroy it. Just like whatever. Let's just wreck it.
Yeah, the princess's explanation situation makes her seem very integral to the process.
Yeah, I think it is. I think
Yeah. And and Ichabod.
there's no backup plan. This is a one way route.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we pivot if we must, but Ichabod, I mean, even if not, he feels obligated to help her because if they lose both, then there's a power vacuum, then someone else takes over the astral elves, and he'd much rather put her on the throne and keep her alive.
Yeah, and I guess you should say that, like, one thing, not to, direct the party in any direction, but there's a ceremony to crown the prince happening at the Citadel. So, first of all, like, keep in mind that that's the case. There's going to be security and all that. These are all things that maybe Vocath even say, it's like, well, there's the Citadel ceremony that one is would be a very big distraction, which could be good for us, depending on how they run it. Two, worst case scenario, if you can't save the princess, you could kill the prince. That would be somewhat directionally positive.
And he can't become emperor, and she would take over anyway. And
Yes, that's true. That is true.
Killing royalty would really brush up my resume.
That's got to be at least one bullet point on your old CV.
Yeah.
Assassinated astral prince.
Oh, but if you wait until he's emperor, then you get to assassinate an emperor.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Ooh. That's like the main spoiler. Never mind.
You're looking for a management position.
I didn't get far enough into it, but you know. Okay, cool. So I'll tell you what. Normally, I like to lead on a cliffhanger, but I feel like the cliffhanger here is this is sort of a cliffhanger, and the one that's in the module is a little silly. I think I might run
everything else we've done is so so
true.
serious.
So serious. That's true. I'm
Big
probably gonna
Bertha
run.
crashes through the ship.
Yeah.
Faction 7.
I'll run the encounter, but I think we'll run at the start of next session instead of the end of this one because it's kind of weird. Okay, cool. So that is where we're going to end, is basically just sort of deciding on your plan. And Crux and Grimzod and Vocath, they'll all give you they'll all give you advice and direction. And so I'll kind of like, Crux knows a lot about the Xaryxians. Vocath knows a lot about, the ship capabilities and that kind of thing, and the different factions. And then Grimzod is a seasoned captain who's better on a ship than on land, obviously. And so there'll be some, you can ask questions, get advice, basically use them as like if you want to get anything out of me, I can give you some information. But generally speaking, though, they'll give you some advice, your plan, decide how you want to handle things. If you want to split the fleet up, if you want to all go at once, if you want to do something sneaky, if you want to go all out, if you want to attack the home planet, if you want to fly them into the sun, whatever you want to do. And we'll pick up next time after you all have had that kind of thought process going. And next session, you will also be one more level higher. So you level up.
Whoa! And long rest.
And long rest. That'd be horrible if you didn't get a long rest. We have to go now.
So good
I definitely used up like a lot of spells.
Yeah.
Yeah. You use up a lot of spells, and everyone else has been hurt.
Yeah.
But
Everyone else has been hurt. The way you said that, it kind of is like insinuating something there towards Koraz. Like,
I mean, he's insinuating that I am what I am, which is a spell sniper, which runs as far away from what's happening as possible, and just goes pew 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 pew.
You have 37 hit points. Gorma was doing like 40 just on one attack, so you could have been dropped for sure, and a crit would have probably killed you outright. So you did the right thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that is it then. So that is all we're going to do tonight. Thank you all for coming by and hanging out and supporting the channel and all that kind of stuff. And a couple really quick things, as always, come hang out with us in the Discord if you've not done that yet. I know I talk about it all the time, but it is a cool place, and you got to type Discord right. There we go. And oh dang, Alex did too. Anyways, that and just as a reminder too, tomorrow we have the return. Is tomorrow the return of the Dragonlance?
They started last
It's
week,
the-
but yeah,
It's the
they're
son
coming
of the
back
return
after.
of Dragonlance.
The son of the return of Dragonlance. Session 2 of Dave's Dragonlance campaign picks up tomorrow. So come by and see that. And of course, our schedule is also in the Discord. That said, that is all I have for tonight. We're going to go raid somebody. Who are you raiding, Alex?
I think we'll go and send a raid to 3 death save.
3 death saves. Nice. So good night, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
We're going to raid. Maybe. There we go. All right. 3 death.